Hello everyone, I am Tiberius Dawnbringer. Welcome back to my channel. Lately I've been doing videos on, the various chakras and the stones that I use in my collection for each individual chakra. And I had a viewer express to me that they were not familiar with what chakras are or any of that particular knowledge, and I feel kind of silly now that I think about it, because I started making these videos just assuming that everyone that was going to watch them would already know, a majority of the material I'm putting out. And so I thought about it, and I'm like, well, you know what? Why don't I just go ahead and make a video pretty much explaining the basics of chakras and, how they work, what their properties and characteristics are. So we have a better understanding going on moving forward with my other videos I'm going to make, and leave less people confused. So I'm going to start off by mentioning that the word chakra is actually Sanskrit for wheel or energy disc. In a lot of this material about chakras comes out of India, and a lot of people who do yoga or listen to New Age philosophies will hear the word chakra used a lot. And the Hindus, or the people that study this type of material, believe that there's energy points throughout the entire physical body, and at those energy points are these circular discs that help regulate and control the flow of energy around that particular part of the body. Some chakras deal with organs, having organs work and flow properly. Others have to deal with nerves, certain nerve areas within the body. Some chakras have to do with like the brain, the heart, various other parts of the physical avatar that we inhabit while we're here in this reality, experiencing this life. Okay, so I've heard that there's up to 108 chakras within the human body, but I just read somewhere where some people believe that there's up to 114. I don't know which one's true. I would probably bank on 108 because that's a divine number that shows up in many cultures, but that's neither here or there. When people talk about chakras, more than any other time, they're talking about the 7 basic chakras that go from the base of the spine to the crown of the skull. And so those are the ones I'm most familiar with. Those are the only ones I really talk about, even though I know that, and I mentioned this in previous videos, how at this part of the palm on both hands, each has their own chakra or energy point. I know that at the bottoms of the feet, same thing, there's chakra energy points there too. Just all throughout your body. Probably each one of the joints in your body is a chakra point. Definitely something that's encouraging me to do further research into that particular topic at a later date. So let me go ahead and get started though. So I'm glad I had this little tapestry here that just happens to be hanging up in my wall in my room. Very convenient that it's like this as soon as I decide it's time to make this kind of video. So here we go. You have the 7 basic chakras. I'm sure you can make out the human figure here sitting in the lotus position that's known in yogic practices. So at the base of the spine, right under the tailbone, is the root chakra, which is associated with the color red. Each one of these chakras at least, is associated with their own particular color. Usually the rainbow colors, representing the rainbow light body, which that's a whole another topic. Sorry, I'll try not to get too far out of this topic, so I'll just stick with what we're doing right now. So let me get my notes here. So the root chakra is associated with energy, stability, comfort, security, safety, survival, that kind of thing. When the root chakra is out of alignment, you can generally tell by having issues around that area, sometimes with the legs. Having bowel movements might be an issue. Anxiety is a big thing when it comes to the root chakra. Fear. When people experience fear, it's generally assumed that the root chakra is out of alignment because you're no longer feeling safe or secure. When you have, say, like financial issues, like everyone's been there at least once in their lives where they, aren't sure if they're going to be able to make rent or pay this bill on time, or if they're going to get paid because their company for some reason is like, oh, we can't afford to pay you now, so we're going to have to pay you at the end of the month. So you have that anxiety that comes from that financial instability or financial insecurity. That's one of the most known occurrences when it comes to the root chakra being out of alignment. When certain things like that happen in your life, it will affect your energetic body, causing the actual energetic disc to not rotate correctly. It could kind of wobble. It could get to the point to where it doesn't move at all, or it could be counter-rotative, which none of those are ideal. You always want it to rotate properly, which from our perspective would be clockwise. You want it to go clockwise, okay? So, but anytime you have like doubts or fears or just something that causes you anxiety, it means that you're not grounded, you're not stable. And it could, simply just take a quick attunement of your root chakra to fix all that. I've done it on multiple occasions. It's fairly normal to me for that to be an issue. When it is rotating properly, you feel safe, secure, confident, not worried at all. Even if things are kind of sketchy, you're like, it could be good, it could be bad. But if you still feel like, even though there's that little bit of doubt or possibility of things going south, you still aren't concerned about it, you still aren't worried about it, that's a good indication that your root chakra is still rotating properly and producing the right amount of energy for your physical and etheric body. Alright, so we're going to move on to the Sacral Chakra, alright, which is associated with the color orange. And the Sacral Chakra has to do with sensuality, sexuality, creativity, pleasure, sociability, self-worth, and life force energy. So what I mean by life force energy is, you have life force energy all throughout your body, okay? But let's say when you are engaging in sexual activity and you have an orgasm, this is especially for the guys. When a guy has an orgasm, okay, they are actually shooting out their life force energy. That's what's going into the semen. And it makes sense because, if you're trying to have a child or make a baby, bring a new soul into this world, you're going to donate your life force energy into the womb of the female in order to, plant that life force energy into the seed or the egg in order to produce a new life. Okay? And that is why when men, orgasm and then they're immediately tired, or they're, they feel drained, their sexual energy just almost plummets to nothing. It's because they're literally shooting out their own life force energy, and that's why they become exhausted. That's why after sex, men generally need to like rest up or even go to sleep for a while to rejuvenate their energy. And if you're one of those guys who likes to experience more than just one orgasm each session, you're just getting rid of a vast majority of your life force energy. You could probably feel exhausted for several days. That's why things like porn and masturbation, especially if you're addicted to those kinds of things, can be a real problem. You'll feel fatigued all the time because your life force energy is just depleted. If your sacral, since I've been talking about that, if that's something that you habitually do, and I think we've all been there at some point, or most of us have been there at some point, that will be like one of the main reasons why the sacral chakra would be out of proper rotation, is because you're just giving away all of your life force energy and it's not going towards anything creative or productive, you know? So definitely something that, especially with the coming generations, more people that get introduced to internet and free access to that particular kind of material, we need to understand and break away from that. It's like we're severely hurting ourselves on an energetic level when we give in to that kind of addiction. And aside from just fatigue, when our sacral chakra is out of alignment, we can experience like things like urinary tract infections, trouble going to the bathroom, stuff like that. But yes, when the sacral chakra is properly rotating and we are using it, or being responsible with our own personal energy, it does relate very often to sexuality and sensuality. Sorry, something was in my eye. Anyways, but I really lost track of what I was saying. But anyways, the sacral chakra does deal with sensuality, sexuality, physical pleasure of that nature. If you ever get into it, like if you study sacred sexuality, the sacral chakra is probably the main focus in those kind of studies. It's actually a study I'm very interested in exploring sometime in the future, but I got like a whole bunch of training ideas I need to start implementing in the next few months before I get to that. But anyways, I'm going to move on from the sacral chakra to the third lowest chakra, which is the solar plexus chakra. And that has to deal with confidence, courage, motivation, personal power, willpower. That's essentially what this one is labeled as, is the center of willpower. All right. And self-esteem, stuff like that. So the root chakra is located right at the tailbone. The sacral chakra is located underneath, here's my belly button, all right, underneath the belly button and right above, like where your top of your pelvic bone is, like right here in the lower portion of your belly. This is where the sacral chakra is located. The solar plexus is located between the heart and the top of the belly button. So right where the top of your abs are is where the solar plexus is located, okay? So this chakra, it deals with pretty much what I mentioned just a few seconds ago: personal power, courage, confidence, self-esteem, determination, the motivation to put things into action. Action, action, action is what willpower is. Without the solar plexus chakra, you'd pretty much be dead, because if you don't have the energy to do anything, then you're just giving it into apathy, and apathy is death. All right. If it's counter rotative, or if it's out of alignment, then you're going to experience the thing that a lot of us youngsters experience growing up in school and such, you know. Going to be shy, embarrassed, you know, scared. Fear can be associated with the solar plexus as well. But when it's rotating properly, when that energy center is strong, you're confident, you're charismatic, you're not so concerned about things getting in your way. You put things into action, you just do it, you just make things happen. My solar plexus chakra is rotating very strongly right now and has been for quite some time. That is, you know, part of what helped me get into actually doing this channel, because there was probably at least 3 or 4 months that I held off from starting this channel due to fear. Root chakra, solar plexus chakra. I was worried about if I was going to be heard. Throat chakra, which I'll get to in a minute. I was concerned about my truth coming out and people actually listening and acknowledging it or even caring about it. Solar, throat. But I am coming from a place of unconditional love, heart. And eventually I convinced myself, and I had others help encourage me along as well, which I will mention that in another story later on, to make me do this channel. Okay? So you learned a little bit more about me during this video. So we're going to move on. Oh, if the solar plexus is out of alignment, you may have like physical issues. You may experience like excessive gas pains or just gassiness, digestion problems, things of that nature. Alright, trouble processing food. Yeah, so digestion mostly. Gut issues. That can be associated with the solar plexus chakra. The heart chakra is the middle of the chakra system. The lower 3 chakras are associated with the physical form more so than the upper 3 chakras. The upper 3 chakras are associated with our spiritual form, our spiritual higher selves, all that. The heart chakra is the balance chakra. It connects both aspects of the lower and the upper into a balanced form, which is what we are right now. Okay? The heart chakra obviously has to deal with love. Unconditional love, regular love, I don't know, just love and acceptance, compassion, sincerity, empathy, those kind of things. That's all associated with the heart chakra. If the heart chakra is out of rotation, your physical experiences will be like heart murmurs, your heart conditions, you know, being tired all the time because like it doesn't make sense why you're tired all the time. Like if you try to jog even a little distance and your heart is just, you just feel like you're going to pass out, your heart's weak. It's because this energy center is off kilter. It needs to be realigned or properly rotated. It needs to be worked on to get it going. When it's strong, when it rotates properly, clockwise, when it's rotating clockwise, you're going to definitely feel stronger. You're going to have a better sense of self-love. That's another thing. If it's counter-rotative or if it's out of alignment, it could deal with self-esteem issues, even though that's connected with the solar plexus. It's also about the heart. You know, self-esteem, self-love, it's the same thing. If you don't love yourself, then your heart chakra is not going to be rotating properly. If you don't love yourself, well, some people might believe this, some don't. But if you don't love yourself, how can you expect other people to love you as well? I mean, that's not entirely true. I've loved people who did not love themselves at all. But that's a whole other subject matter. So, moving on from there. Throat chakra. Throat chakra obviously is located right here. For us men, it's either right underneath the Adam's apple or the spot right below it. But it's generally in the throat area. And it makes sense because it has to deal with verbal communication, trying to get our message across. You know, just speaking the truth, being heard properly, communication. That's what the throat chakra emphasizes, communication. If you're trying to talk to somebody and they're not hearing you, either your throat chakra is out of alignment, or their throat chakra is out of alignment, or they just don't want to listen to you. They're just not hearing you. You know, and that can be the case sometimes as well. If your throat chakra is out of alignment, you can have all kinds of things, you know, sinus issues, sore throat, phlegminess, constantly coughing for no reason, just difficulty breathing, just anything you can think of along those lines. There was a time, like a year and a half ago, where there was a lot of things I wanted to say to a particular person, and I just couldn't get to saying it because I didn't feel at the time it was appropriate to say those things. And during the time before I actually, you know, got the courage to actually say those things, I noticed that for weeks I would be constantly having like this phlegm build up in my throat, and I was constantly like clearing my throat because of it. And I think that was like the least discomforting type thing, dealing with or out of alignment throat chakra. And I think the reason why is because I was of a knowledge of this particular topic to know that when I paid attention and became aware of that, I was like, I know why this is happening. It's because I am too scared to tell this person, you know, the things I wanted to tell them. Once I told them, within a day, all that phlegminess went away, you know? So just, in the end, it just serves you better to just go ahead and say it, you know? We can't always be afraid of speaking our truths and being concerned with how the other person is going to feel, or how they're going to respond or react, you know? And you just gotta learn to not care. And I don't mean it like in a negative, derogatory way. You just gotta learn not to put so much energy and concern into the outcome. You know? You just say it, and if it doesn't go your way, oh well, you know, I tried, but I'm still better for it, and move on. Don't let it destroy you. Don't let it drag you down. Don't let it mess up your life or your sleep because you're just constantly thinking about scenarios that haven't even happened yet. Okay? Alright. So, did I miss anything on the throat chakra? No, I don't think I did. Alright, moving on to the third eye chakra. One of my personal favorites. Third eye chakra is located where in the center of the brain there literally is a third eyeball. It's just like one of these two, but it's in the center of your brain, and instead of like facing outward like that, it's facing up, directly up. It doesn't see light or anything, you know, I mean, it's inside your skull, but what I mean is like even if the brain was outside of your skull, the eye would be facing into the center of the brain, so it still wouldn't see light except from the light that comes in through these eyes. And it houses your pineal gland, which is shaped like a what are those things called? A pine cone. It's shaped like a pine cone. Okay. And the third eye it's pretty much, it's your intuition, lucidity. It houses a lot of our psychic abilities are within the third chakra. It has to do with meditation and trust. And yeah, a lot of our spiritual practice and abilities that come with it stem from the third eye chakra. If your third eye chakra is out of alignment, you'll experience things like headaches, dizziness, migraines, double vision, triple vision. Your eyes might hurt. You know, just anything that has to deal with, you know, the head or the eyes mainly. Sometimes sinuses can do a third eye as well. But if it's in alignment, then you're more in touch with your intuition. And intuition is to put it simply, it's like knowing without knowing. Or it's like having the answers to something that you would not have any other way of knowing the answer. You know, like you didn't learn it from a book, you didn't experience it for yourself. The information comes to you and you know it. and you know that it's the truth. You know, your intuition is kind of like you being connected with your higher self as well. That's where all that knowing comes from, is your higher self. And speaking of higher self, I'm going to move on to the 7th and final chakra in this video, the crown chakra, which is associated with the color purple. I probably didn't mention the other ones, but you can already see. Solar plexus yellow, heart green, throat blue, third eye is indigo or blue and purple in the middle, and then crown is purple. So, I'm going to stretch for a second here. Oh, you heard that? That was my back. Okay, crown, knowledge, consciousness, fulfillment, spirituality, higher self. Yeah. Your crown chakra is pretty much your connection to everything above us that exists in the heavens, that exists on a level or frequency that we are not yet attuned to, but we're getting there. But essentially, if you've ever heard of people who channelers, right? They're the ones that sit there, usually with their eyes closed, and they will channel in some other entity, and that entity will use their physical body to deliver a message of some sort. Okay? And that channeling is possible because the person is able to open up their crown chakra enough to invite in the other energy to merge with them on that level and be able to deliver the message. So if that is out of alignment, you'll usually experience a lot of the similar things with the third eye chakra, but I want to say migraines are more with, the crown chakra being out of alignment. There's a person I met a few years ago who was in a wheelchair. Like they suffered a horrible accident, and they pretty much can't really do anything for themselves. Their crown chakra was out of alignment more than any other part of their body or any other one of their chakras, and it makes absolutely perfect sense. It deals with the brain, both on a physical and spiritual level. And yeah, you could have like nervous problems or nerve problems. I don't know, just anything that's really brain related could definitely be associated with the crown chakra. Yeah. So that's pretty much it though. You got these 7 chakras. I started videos last week or the week before, and I've already gone through the first 3. I've already been working on the next 2, the heart and the throat, and I'm going to finish up with the third eye and the crown, and I'm going to probably put those out sometime in the next week. But I figured it was a great idea to go ahead and make this video so that you are more aware and under a certain level of understanding. When I talk about chakras, I am talking about these things and how they're associated with our physical and energetic bodies, and what properties and characteristics they have. So when I start talking about reasons why I use particular stones for each individual one, you have a much better and clearer understanding of what I'm meaning and referring to. So I hope that this video was informative and helpful, and yeah, I'm just glad I got to do this video. I appreciate every single one of you. If you're still here watching this and you've taken the time to exchange these energies with me, I would like to express my gratitude to all of you for doing so. And I thank you. And I will see you all in the next video.